Hello, YouTube. I have moved again, and I wanted to tell you why. I'm going to talk a little bit about mold illness, my symptoms, and put people who may be looking for a place to rent or buy to kind of put you on alert so that you don't walk into the same kind of situation that I did unknowingly. Because here's what happened. My partner and I, this was a little over a year ago, so it was like late June of 2024. We were very excited to have found this glorious mansion. I think the total square footage was 5,000, and there were two tenants who were had separate units that were a part of the house. This is going to sound strange, and I'm not going to explain it in a way that makes any sense, but they had a separate entrance, and they were a part of the same house. We didn't have shared spaces, but they occupied a portion of the 5,000 square feet. I believe that the livable space that my partner and I had, which included a completely finished basement, was about 3,500. On a massive lot in a neighborhood called Bryn Athyn in Pennsylvania. So just outside of the Philadelphia city limits in Montgomery County. It's beautiful. It's near Bryn Athyn Cathedral, Glen Cairn Museum, and Cairnwood Estate. So a really unique spot. Most people have never heard of this place. Most of the property is, from what I understand, it's held by Pitcairn relatives, and people try to keep their property within the family, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But anyway, so we had this beautiful, oh my god, my bedroom quarters, I have my own space on the second floor, were enormous. I would say 3 times the size of an average sized 1-bedroom apartment in New York City. I'm not exaggerating. I had a closet with closets within it that was larger than maybe 2 bedrooms that I would expect to see in a nice sized place in Brooklyn. That was my closet. And that's where I first spotted the black mold. And it wasn't when we looked at the place. I didn't detect it. I have, the olfactory sense of a dog. However, I think perhaps because we looked at this house in May and the weather was nice, that they had kept the windows open. I'm just guessing. They may have kept the windows open and aired the place out. They may not have been running the air conditioner as much, and sometimes the smell is more noticeable when the air or the heat is running, because there will be mold that exists in the HVAC. So that's just one possible explanation. I have no way of determining that. I just know that when we looked at the house, I didn't smell anything. I am pretty attuned to that. Whenever I walk into a house that has mold or mildew, I can actually taste it in the back of my throat, and once we leave, and I'm like, ugh! And then once we leave, I will continue to taste it. None of that happened when we looked at the house. And then when we went back to move in a few things prior to the actual move-in date, that's when I freaked out because I smelled something gross. It wasn't there are different flavors of mold smell that I've encountered in my life, and this one, there aren't words to describe it, but it wasn't like the basic mildewy smell, and it wasn't you're going into a house that's been kept shut, and your grandmother lives there and there are unwashed quilts or something like that. It was nothing really familiar, just it put me on notice that I needed to look around some. So I was there by myself actually this afternoon, and putting some like statues here and there and some artwork. And I went into my massive closet and I saw, again, let me backtrack a little, some history. So the house was originally built in 1900, and then the owners added on a section, I think in the 90s, but there was, I learned this later, the hired help to assemble this extra few rooms onto the house. They did a really poor job at the juncture of the old and the new. And that's where it was clear that water had gotten in. And during some torrential downpours that summer, I had a leak there, and then it just got worse. Like, clearly there had been a leak that was, already in effect, and they had experienced it, and like the landlord was aware because he talked about like the bad carpentry and so forth. And there was additional damage that occurred just in the year that we were there along this juncture and in the stairwell that was a part of it. And I like watched the wood get more and more rotten and gray and black. It was hideous. But so on this afternoon that I was moving my stuff in, I went into the closet. I saw this black, it looked like a charcoal kind of stain around the perimeter of what were white walls and a kind of an off-white carpet. And I was like, that's odd. I wonder if there was, a poor cleaning job, or maybe the rug was really, really dirty and it was just dirt that accumulated around the perimeter. And then I opened the closets within the closet and I was like, holy shit, it was far worse. And I got up close to it and I was like, it looks like someone took like, the tooth whitening charcoal that you can get. It's not really whitening, but people like use it to brush their teeth. It was like somebody had like sprinkled that all around the perimeter where the wood met the carpet. And I shut those interior closets immediately. And I went and explored other parts of the house. I saw at that point all around the windows a black, kind of a greenish black substance. And I know, okay, it can grow outside and not get you, but it was clear that there had not been a proper attention to the maintenance of the house, either by the previous tenants or the owner, or who knows when it started. But no one was taking care of these thick like layers of black green fuzzy looking mold. Okay, so I told my partner that I was concerned. The first thing that happened, I mean within a day or two of being there, I started getting a runny nose. And that's not something that I've experienced since being a very young child. Like, I can't even remember it, but my mom said that when I was a very young child, I had a runny nose. I was like, okay. Like, from most of my life, I've not had a nose that would run. If I was fighting off a virus or something, I would just get congestion, and then it would turn into a sinus infection. And nowadays, if I feel like congestion, I'll just take a lot of olive leaf and like irrigate my sinuses and it'll go away. Nothing happens. So the fact that I was getting a runny nose was very peculiar, and it was worse in certain rooms. Like there was a huge like family room type of thing that it was so vast that, we had another living room too that was humongous. And I had my elliptical machine in there. So like, first thing in the morning, I would go down there and work out. And there were some other weird smells in that room. But I'd have this runny nose, and then I would be like coughing up stuff within a week or two of being there. Coughing up some stuff, which that was odd as well. Then my vision, which, you know, I'm now 48 going on 49 years old. You tend to have some vision changes as you get older. But I went from sometimes needing to use my readers at a it's not a high magnification. It's like the 1.0 magnification. Sometimes needing to use them to always needing to use them. And it was like not only for working at my laptop, which was the reason why I bought them in the first place. I was unable to read books without them, and my phone. Like I couldn't read anything on my phone, and menus at restaurants and stuff like that. So vision changes, then a little bit more like brain foggy and tired. And my partner is still dealing with some of the vision effects as well. So those were the main things for me. Oh God, I can't leave this out. So in the bathroom, this was my bathroom was between my bedroom and the massive closet. So kind of like a bridge between the two of them, with one door on each side, obviously. And there was a lot of black mold like around the carpet on the closet side. So it was with me all the time. And the the countertop in the bathroom, which was, again, this off-white color, every day I would see these little filaments that I was hoping were dust, like regular dust. But there's no way, there's no source of this amount of recurring dust. It was like little mold spores, which is really horrible, which started to accumulate and fester in my nail beds. Like it was taking over my own tissues visibly, especially, and it's now gone. So I was very happy after being in this new place for 2 weeks. I noticed that for the first time in a year, I have clean looking nails, and they are very clean. They're not just clean looking. But yeah, my nails were being affected. I was being invaded, and I don't even want to talk about my toenails. But that's over now. So it's really terrible. Anyway, I know for many people it's much worse. I think there's some other kind of symptoms that could be blamed on the mold, or they could be blamed on something else, like hair loss. Because perimenopausal, low ferritin, all these things are, being addressed with other prescriptions, actually. And so doctors haven't been able to really put their finger on why I've been losing hair despite being treated for, the hormonal changes that come with perimenopause and having low ferritin, like that was addressed. So hair loss can be potentially blamed, if only partially, on the mold. I don't know. I'm not gonna commit to that. But yeah, so here's what happened after getting out of the mold. Pretty soon after, actually, as soon as we left, like night one in this house, I thought, okay, well, it's a new environment. I usually don't sleep very well the first night that I'm in a new place. So I didn't, even though it was quiet. It's very quiet here. We don't have other tenants coming and going. It's a house that doesn't have loud neighbors or anything. It's a quiet neighborhood. No loud house noises. Thank goodness, finally. It's been a long journey to get to this point. But I found that I was waking up a lot and just feeling kind of agitated. I was having dizziness. This is all according to I've looked into it. I'm in a few things. I follow a lot of mold experts on YouTube, and they explain, what happens when you're detoxing and what you can do to expedite it and stuff like that. So I'm in a Facebook group as well on it's like the toxic mold recovery or something. And people talk about how once they're out of their moldy environment, they get an increase in the symptoms that they had with mold or other symptoms. So I had really bad insomnia, it totally different from the kind of thing where you're awoken and you're like, ugh, and you're lying there. It was pretty frequent awakenings and just feeling like I was out of my head. So that I think is over. It's now been a month, and it took about a month for everything to calm down for me. My vision hasn't improved that much, so that's a concern. We'll see. I mentioned the nails. I should point out that I should have said this earlier. We did an air test for mold using these agar plates. You can find these things on Amazon. They're like, round. They have like the agar coating on the bottom, and you set them around the house in various places for like an hour, and then you put the lid on, you label it, and you like let it sit in the dark for 3 days, and then you check them, and you can identify the type of mold that has been captured if there's anything growing on the plate. You hope that you won't see anything, but we had just about everything that was in the booklet that came with the kit, including, I'm probably going to mispronounce this, but Stachybotrys chartarum, which is the toxic black mold. And I'm thinking that was the one that I was most exposed to, being that my closet was filled with it around the perimeter, and it was all over my bathroom counter. So all of this is to say that if you're shopping around for a new living space, make sure that you inhale deeply and investigate around any junctures of old and new construction, if there is that kind of thing. Check around the windows for sure. Go to the basement, take a flashlight if it's not illuminated well enough for you to see. Maybe take a look in the air conditioning vents. I know in Pennsylvania, this is, it's rampant. We looked at so many houses, and I can, like I said, normally identify a moldy place upon entry, and then I'll just leave. But apparently, that doesn't work if they've had the windows open necessarily. But most basements will give it away. That has tended to be the most frequently, for me, that's like the most frequently pungent area in a house. I suppose that attics could be a source as well if there's ever been a roof leak, but it's rare to have the ability to just go up there when someone's showing their house. Maybe you could ask. So yeah, that's it. And one other thing. I did have some night sweats when I emerged from that house and spent, that was in the first week of being here, some night sweats. I'm using milk thistle, but I've always taken milk thistle. Milk thistle, N-acetylcysteine, glycine, and some other herbs to try and, keep my detoxification pathways clear and competent, to manage the toxic burden and get it out of me. Drink a lot of water. My diet is clean as ever, and hopefully, the last thing to check off my recovery list will be clearer vision. So for that, I've been trying to do some eye exercises. I'm doing them. I'm doing like everything that I can find any like research to back, or if it just makes me feel better because I'm exercising my eyes. Sometimes I get a bit of an improvement like right after doing it, but as soon as I put my readers on or the cheaters, the cheats on to read, I kind of revert to that maladjusted vision. All right. Hope everyone is doing okay out there, and I'll talk to you hopefully soon.